the paper markets were the tail on the dog, but the tail constantly wagged the dog because they would overwhelm the physical markets with paper. The problem now is they've done it for so long and to such a grand extent that now there's a question whether these paper contracts are going to be able to deliver. And the answer I think you're going to find in the next month to 3 months, we're going to find out that no, the paper markets are not a substitute for real physical because they have to deliver real physical that does not exist.
For years, critics say big institutions have issued way more paper gold and silver than real metal exists. Bill Holter claims that illusion is finally cracking. But skeptics note we've heard COMEX collapse predictions for decades, and the system is still standing. Holter warns that futures only work if there's metal behind them, and he says that metal is vanishing fast. Skeptics counter that COMEX warehouses still show enough deliverable supply, and past warnings of failure never came true. Okay, let's go to interview.
The market is, the bottom line is all of the futures, options, paper products, etc., they're all based off of the physical metal in the first place anyway. That's why they're called derivatives. They're derivatives of the actual product. There's not as much concern. There's concern. If gold were to go, if gold doesn't deliver, the system dies anyway. But if gold doesn't deliver, it's not a direct effect on production, if you will. Silver is used in so many different applications, whether it be industrial, technological, medicinal. I just did an interview and was talking about every time they shoot a Tomahawk missile, there goes a monster box. You can't make a Tomahawk missile without roughly 500 ounces of silver. So silver will have profound ramifications to the real world, to the real economy. Now, that said, if silver goes failure to deliver or gold goes failure to deliver, you're stuck in the casino because the casino will close. And when the casino closes, and we've talked about this, for the last, year and a half, maybe even 2 years, we've talked about the great taking. Once the casino closes and banks and brokers and insurance companies start going belly up, they're going to take your capital with them. And that's why it's so important to get your capital out of the system into something, gold and silver, that cannot bankrupt, and in a place where it can't be taken from you. Going back to visit the late 2019 episode, that was just before COVID, and the repo rates spiked to 10%, and that the Fed was having to put $100+ billion into that market every single night so it could clear. Then conveniently along came COVID, and two things happened. The real economy worldwide was definitely stunted or shut down, whatever you want to call it. There was less demand for credit because of COVID, and it allowed central banks all over the world to flood the markets with liquidity. Problem solved. Not solved, but the can was kicked down the road. Here we are again. We're nowhere near where we were in October of 2019, but the overnight rates are starting to move higher again. It's a concern and should be watched. Again, everything, whether it be the real economy, production, consumption, transit, and also the financial world, the financial economy, everything runs on credit. If credit gets disrupted or credit ceases anywhere, it'll be a shock that will, it'll shut the whole system down. Yeah, I would just say, welcome to the party. And next I would say, we have interest rates still at basically generational lows. We're not where we were 3 or 4 years ago. We're not at 0% rates, but rates are extremely low. There's no risk premium in interest rates at all. So brokers and banks, they understand that the likelihood long-term, 5 years, 10 years, longer than that, the likelihood is that rates are going to go higher, not lower. And they also understand that there's going to have to be another mass printing, whether they call it QE or not, it doesn't matter. But there's going to be another global mass printing. And the problem with that is that debases the currencies, and that lowers the value of the unbacked currencies. If the values are lower, then you got to give more of dollars or euros or yen or whatever for that same ounce of gold or the same ounce of silver. So I think they're looking at it pragmatically and saying, yeah, the day of buying and holding bonds is over, and that's why they're recommending half of that bond position be liquidated and put into gold. The only problem with that is if everybody did that, you'd have gold at probably, who knows, $2 million an ounce. Just, pick a number, but it's going to be super, super high.
Andy Schectman argues China is paying huge premiums to secure silver from Mexico, Peru, and Canada. But analysts say claims of double price deals are hard to verify and may simply reflect normal market differences, not a secret stockpile. Holter and Schectman think a paper physical breakdown is inevitable. Skeptical voices point out the same predictions were made in 2008, 2011, 2020, and 2022, and the market didn't break then either. Back to the interview.
In this market right now, if you're looking at a high premium, anything over, I don't know, even 5 or 6% for gold eagles, anything over that, you're getting ripped off because the premiums don't exist today. Most products can be purchased within 5% of spot. Well, you got some companies that say, well, if you buy X amount, we'll give you so much silver. I mean, that's like, it's a carrot, whatever. I don't know. This is not really a topic I like to talk about, because if I really talk about it, I'll start swearing and your YouTube will get taken down. Shame. It's predatory. I mean, I'm not going to name names, but I mean, just as an example, there was someone, representing a firm that, had pretty good information on YouTube. Not all of it was correct, but it was mostly correct and pretty good. And, you're taking grandmotherly advice, and that was a firm that was charging whatever the fair rate was. They were charging 26% commission on top of that. So what is that? Is that gouging? Is it stealing? It's horrible. And it gives a bad name to this industry. And it's not illegal. It's not illegal because it's not a regulated industry. But I'm pretty sure, when you're standing at the gates of heaven, it's illegal. That's a black mark. I'm watching silver in particular, COMEX silver. Also, we're seeing now that silver's obviously tight in London, but it's also becoming tight in Shanghai. This is a global phenomenon. This is not, there's plenty of silver, but it's in the wrong place. No, there's not plenty of silver. And what I'm watching as far as COMEX is concerned, November is strictly a non-delivery month, and the amount of contracts being added on a daily basis for November delivery is astounding. December, on the other hand, is a big delivery month. And I question, can they deliver 60, 70, 100 million ounces for the month of December? I don't know. It just looks to me like the failure to deliver, we're walking on a knife's edge at this point.
They warned the U.S. relies too much on imported silver. True, but it has for decades. So far, no industrial shortages or market disruptions have proved the doom scenario.